Welcome to Live from Coco's Cabinet. This is Corey, and it is wonderful to see you all here. Hey, there we are. Welcome to my YouTube live audience as well. It's great to see everybody out there. And welcome to my Blast Radio listeners. You are listening to Live from Coco's Cabinet, the weekly show where I, Coco, talk to you a little bit about movie news, VHS, all sorts of weirdo stuff here in my cabinet, surrounded here in this room by all the wonderful things that I love. So we are going to get started with our show with our first segment with some news. Breaking news from around the web. That's right. It is time for some breaking news from around the web. And this week, we are going to be talking, we're going to kick things off by talking about some exciting trailers that were released this week. Notably, what I'm going to be starting off with, the Evil Dead Rise trailer, which for me is a very highly anticipated title. I am looking forward to the release of this movie for sure. And a lot of people seem to share in that opinion. It was met with a lot of excitement on Twitter. It's definitely the horror crowd was pleased that a Red Band trailer was released. So us gorehounds got some pretty brutal imagery in this trailer. And unfortunately, though, it did kind of spark a debate on Twitter about Bruce Campbell and the fact that Bruce Campbell is not in this project. But then, other people were saying, well, he got a whole trilogy and several seasons of a television show, so let's let somebody else have the spotlight. And I am of that mindset as well, not to mention the fact that Bruce Campbell fully endorses and is involved in this film behind the scenes. In fact, he is calling it the scariest of the Evil Dead films, which, honestly, if this trailer is in any indication, I definitely would agree with that. It gives me strong Evil Dead remake vibes, the remake from many years ago, which was also pretty terrific, but it was definitely brutal in a way that, I think the original Evil Deads, despite their certainly a rampant use of gore and things like that, there was always sort of a sense of fun, sense of humor. But the remake and certainly the vibe in this trailer seems to be more along the lines of the brutality, not so much the sense of humor. So that is definitely pretty interesting. All right, so again, this trailer really looks like pretty intense, and I have just a little bit of a sound clip here, which was for me one of the more effective moments. The film seems to center around a mother. The word is being used a lot in the marketing, and then that is heavily emphasized in the trailer as well. That this is a mom who kind of suffers the deadite possession first, and this little snippet of dialogue kind of stuck with me, and I think it really encapsulates the brutal nature of what seems to be coming from Evil Dead Rise.
Mommy's with the maggots now.
All right, so just Mommy's with the maggots now. That really gosh, and it's it's a little girl, and it just the effect they have on her voice, I think is very effective, and I'm really looking forward to this one. Strong excitement levels for Evil Dead Rise, and then sort of in the opposite direction in terms of tone, we also saw the release of the trailer for Renfield, the new Universal horror comedy, which I actually didn't know until the trailer was released that it was going to be comedic in tone. But that turns out to be kind of a godsend here, because I thought this trailer made this movie look like a blast. I think the most important element that really, contributes to that is that Nicolas Cage, the legend himself, is playing Dracula. And he appears to be having an absolute blast, performing for the top the top row or the back row or whatever that old saying is, really digging into the camp as we know that Nick Cage can. Despite that, though, we also see lots of we have Nicholas Hoult, who also stars, who I actually just watched this afternoon in The Menu, which was really terrific. Very black comedy for sure, but quite good. Very, very funny, very dark. Some really great horror stuff there. Nicholas Hoult in the lead there. He's also great on The Great Hulu show. We also have Awkwafina, who is always a delight in anything that we see her in. So it looks like a lot of fun, and we're going to get Nick Cage as Dracula, and I don't know, what else can you ask for?
Now, let's eat.
All right, and staying within the realm of horror, this week, Megan was released, and it opened to very positive reviews. And I was very pleased to see this. I'm a big fan of killer doll movies. I love Chucky and Puppet Master and all those things. And it's been a while since we've had a really effective one outside of the Chucky TV series, which I do think is pretty excellent. This trailer that came out several months ago looked really fun, really promising. And it appears, based on these early reviews, that it is a campy delight. It is very fun and over the top and memorable and does a lot of great stuff with its premise. And I, for one, am very excited. I have been pretty excited about all of the promotional materials so far. I think they've done a great job of using the inherent creepiness of a doll or of a robotic little girl.
Megan.
Have I done something to upset you, Gemma?
I know you think you're maximizing your objective function.
Oh, really?
So I'm really looking forward to seeing this one. The other interesting thing, though, that's sort of culminated from this, or been a result of this movie doing well, is there's started a debate on Twitter about the validity of PG-13 horror. Megan being rated PG-13, obviously, which is what sparked the debate. And I have always been of the mind that if you need to be, if you're relying on your R rating for your extreme nature of your film, then you're probably not going to be making that great of a movie. I think that PG-13 horror is great, and there have been many wonderful, wonderful examples. Drag Me to Hell, Sam Raimi, of course. Of course, it would have been great to have prepared a list, but check out Twitter if you want to see a longer list there. But PG-13 doesn't necessarily mean that you can't have effective horror. The reliance on gore and all this, as much as I love those things, that wonderful gore does not a wonderful movie make. You still have to have all the other elements there. So I don't think that just because it's rated PG-13 that this somehow negates its ability to be a great horror film. And obviously, it's getting great reviews. So I really do feel like it's sort of a moot point. But it did restart that conversation, which is a fairly regular conversation in the horror community, because horror, of course, is known for its extremity and its very R-rated nature. But again, I don't think that is necessarily a qualifier for quality. And if it is, then, it shouldn't be. The Ring, a great example of a PG-13 horror movie. One of the scariest horror movies that you can watch, I think, or certainly one of the most effective, and did not rely on violence to get those scares. Just atmosphere and, well directed scenes, well acted scenes. It can absolutely be done within the realm of a PG-13 rating. So we're going to move on. Also, a little scary news here. Actor Jeremy Renner is currently in recovery after what sounds like a pretty horrific snowplow accident. Jeremy Renner, living out in the wilderness and dealing with snow so often that he owns his own snowplow, had apparently stopped the snowplow in order to help another car that was stranded, and his own snowplow slipped back and ran him over, and he had to be life flighted. There was a delay because of the severity of the snow on the roads, and he was in critical condition, and it was sort of scary for a little bit there because there wasn't that much news about exactly what was going on. And then we received the update that he is all right. He's recovering. He's out of surgery. Released a statement, a really sweet video with his sister and his mom in the hospital. But just a kind of a scary and sort of a freak accident. And just sort of a reminder of that these people they're people, right? It's kind of scary. But watch out for your snowplows out there. If my listeners if I have any snowplowers out there, be careful with those. They seem to be very dangerous vehicles. Well, what's not a dangerous vehicle is the star vehicle of Avatar. That was a really bad transition, but hey, we gave it a shot. So this is what's becoming a weekly giant blue people update for Avatar 2, because it did reach $1.5 billion, that's billion with a B, $1 billion in worldwide box office earnings, which made it the highest grossing film of 2022, just edging out Top Gun Maverick, which earned $1.4 billion, which also kind of boggles the mind. And it is on its way to earning $2 billion, which is something that only 5 other movies have ever done. 2 of Cameron's movies are part of that club. The other being Star Wars The Force Awakens, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, and then Spider-Man, actually. Spider-Man No Way Home. So... and I'm just going to leave you with this. According to an interview with Cameron, the film needs to earn $2 billion in order for it to be considered a financial success, which boggles my mind in such a way that I don't feel that I can any longer meaningfully engage with this story. So what we're going to do instead is move on to a brand new segment. And very excited about debuting this segment tonight. I took it for a test drive here on Blast Radio this week. And this segment is called Found Sounds. Found Sounds. All right, and on this segment, I look around the cabinet. As you can see, I am surrounded by wonderful physical media, and I find myself a song that I am going to play, or a weird bit of audio. It is literally a sound that I'm going to find, and then found sound. That sounds great, right? Nice rhyme. So that could maybe be on a VHS tape, a cassette tape, a vinyl record, which is what we're going to be enjoying this evening, a CD even. I've got it all in this big, beautiful room here right next to me, so I wanted to utilize the wonderful equipment that I have here at my disposal. So tonight, on our first episode of, I guess our first segment of Found Sounds, I am going to be playing a 45 record. And let me lean back here and grab the artwork here for my YouTube crowd. What I'm going to be playing this evening is a band that was actually created for Twin Peaks: The Return, the sequel series by David Lynch from several years ago. The band was actually composed of his son, Riley Lynch, on guitar, and also notably the former head of Dirty Beaches, I guess head of, or solo project of Alex Zhang Hungtai, who also has released lots of wonderful music on his own, solo music. He played saxophone on this song. And so as part of it was a running bit on the show, if you didn't watch Twin Peaks: The Return, that they would have these live performances at the local club at the end of these episodes, notably one of them being Nine Inch Nails. I mean, there were some big names on this. It wasn't just bands made up of David Lynch's family members. And this song, though, in particular, is it's a very cool, moody song, and I think it really captures the vibe of David Lynch's work. It has that sort of weird, haunting rockabilly sound, and the saxophone is so cool. And then the artwork here as well. Here we go for my YouTubers. That's completely dark. Let me try to get you there. So it's sort of a silhouette of a gentleman with a cool leather jacket with his back to the camera, with Trouble written across the back. So the name of the group was Trouble, as I mentioned before. The name of the track is Snake Eyes, and it is coming to you here live on Blast Radio, live from Coco's Cabinet, in our new segment, Found Sounds. in. There's some of the trouble that can come along with playing a vinyl record live on the radio there. That record appears to have a little bit of a warp to it, which breaks my heart. And I also think that one of my cables might be malfunctioning as well. So what a swing and a miss there here on Found Sounds live from Coco's Cabinet. But the good news is there's more show to come, and we can always iron out these little details, these little problems that arise sometimes here on live radio. So we are going to move on to our next segment, which is...
Now it's time for... Tales from the Shelf.
That's right, folks. Tales from the Shelf, the part of my show where I pick and highlight something from my strange collection of physical media oddities and odds and ends, and highlight it here on the show. But what I wanted to do for this episode is, especially for my YouTubers, and I will try to describe it for my Blast Radio listeners as well, I have moved my recording area into our what was essentially the den of our home, and we have created a really huge, wonderful creative workspace here, where I have all of my media at my fingertips, as well as all of my audio equipment. My wife, as you can see for my YouTubers in the background there, she has her desk in here, and then we have our wonderful wall of books, which represents only a small part of our books. Shockingly, we have books everywhere. My wife, a collector like me, collector of the written word, and we both have a really wonderful space to work now, where I can film the show, and she and I can record our weekly radio show promptly as well. And it's just really great. It feels like a move in the right direction, a place to really hone in on the show, and a place where I know I can go and work, and she can go and work, and it really just feels like a positive step in the right direction. So we're both very thrilled to have this new space, and excited to create wonderful things here in this room and keep bringing you some exciting content here on Live from Coco's Cabinet. And now, for the thrilling conclusion of a Christmas radio romance here on Amore on the airwaves. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Promptly, the weekly prompt-based radio show where husband and wife team Corey and Hillary create competitive playlists based around listener-submitted prompts. Tune in weekly on Blast Radio on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Central for Promptly. And now, back to Amore on the airwaves. Last week, we learned that Tom was not in love with Mary, but instead has true affection for her sister, Margaret. Damien, Mary's boyfriend, almost shot Tom when he felt threatened, and Margaret has walked in on the compromising scene. Whatever will happen next on Amore on the airwaves? Will Tom tell Margaret his true feelings? Did Mary cut her hair without her twins' knowledge? Find out tonight.
Why, Margaret, hello. How funny to see you here. We were just, well...
We were just practicing a new scene in a play I'm writing. That's all, Margaret. Nothing to worry about here. Tom, let me help you up. Thanks. Good scene.
What about the gun?
Gun? What gun?
A prop, that's all. Just a prop for the play, you see. Now, Tom was just telling us that he needed to tell you something, Margaret. He did?
Margaret, these last few weeks have been really special to me, and I really like you. I want to know if you might do me the honor of letting me take you to dinner.
Why, Tom, oh yes, of course, Tom, yes. Oh, what a happy Christmas it's turned out to be. My sister and best friend are in love. It's a perfect example of everything the holiday season represents.
Listen, everyone, it's carolers.
It truly could not get more perfect. Kiss me, Tom.
And that, dear listeners, is the end of a Christmas radio romance here on Coco's Cabinet of Curiosities. Every Saturday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on Blast Radio. Be sure to tune in next week for an all-new adventure here on Amore on the Airwaves.